In this section of the course, we're going to be looking through the timeline. It's up at the top here, of course, and can be hidden or shown by choosing Window and Timeline. It can also be collapsed using the Timeline button here. Note that hitting the F4 key to hide the panels does not affect the timeline. Now let's look around the different areas of the timeline. First off, tabs at the very top display our currently open documents. Click them to switch between them. And an asterisk next to a document name signifies that this document has had changes made to it that haven't yet been saved. The top bar of the timeline gives us some interesting options. It tells us here which scene we're currently viewing, and it also tells us where we are in the hierarchy of instances on the stage. To demonstrate, I'll double-click this object on the stage, and the top bar now lets us know that we're inside symbol 19. Click again, and the bar again shows us where we are. To return to any level, just pick an option here. Or you can move back up one step at a time by hitting the return button. Over at the right of this top bar, we have some navigation and zoom controls. The first button lets us switch scenes in our document quickly without having to open the Scenes panel. The second button acts like a mini library. Click it and we're presented with the contents of our library, so we can go straight to an item and edit it in standalone mode. Notice as well that library folders are shown as menu flyouts. The next two areas of the timeline are the Layers area here on the left and the timeline itself. We organize and composite our stage elements in the Layers area, and we create animation, tweens, and frame-based action script in the main part of the timeline. The playhead at the top moves along the timeline, and we can drag it around to go to different timeline areas. We'll go more in depth into the layers and timeline areas a bit later on. On the very far right, we have an options menu that allows us to make some viewing choices. We can change the width of frames if we wish, and even make the timeline show previews. Next, we can make the layers shorter vertically, as I mentioned earlier on in this course. And finally, we can change the appearance of frames by turning tinting on or off. Down in the bottom of the timeline, we have a few extra controls. First, we have center frame. If our timeline is very long, we can quickly jump to the current location of the playhead by just hitting the button. Let's make these frames very large. If I move our view out here and then hit the center frame button, we're taken back to the playhead. The next four buttons deal with onion skinning and more advanced timeline editing, so we'll cover those in a few lessons. We'll finish up though with these three info boxes. The first one shows us the current playhead position. The second displays our document frames per second, and the third one gives us the current time. And no, that's not the time right now, or how long it took to complete the last operation. It tells us how far into the movie we are. The time starts at 0 at frame 1, and if our movie plays at 10 frames per second, then frame 30 is just under 3 seconds. It's not quite 3 because the movie starts at frame 1 and not frame 0. So basically, this part of the display helps us tell how long it's going to take to complete a section of the timeline. And it's kind of handy when you're trying to synchronize your movie with different things. And finally, we can edit our document properties simply by double-clicking on the frame rate display. And that's it for our timeline overview.